Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got a new little receiver from Flysky, meant to be even more waterproof. We got 8 channels. Not sure if they do this in 2 versions with long and short antenna, so probably a real good one for boats or crawlers that you like to submerge in water. If anybody's tried it, you'll know that as soon as your antenna is under the water line, you need to get pretty close with your transmitter. Due to the fact that radio waves don't travel through water, they bounce off it. But let's bring in for a close-up look and see what kind of features are on this thing. So, first off, we've got the model number, which is FBr8. Comes in a nice tidy box, but we don't really care about boxes, do we? So, let's have a look. Let's have a look what's in this box. And first thing that I noticed about this one is the clear resin style case, and I must admit that's not what I were expecting. I kind of expected it to be sort of the clear but flimsy plastic. That is complete solid resin. So yeah, the waterproofing level on this is going to be pretty insane. So we've got no bind button, obviously with it being completely watertight. I mean, that does look cool. I gotta get hats off to Flysky for this one. It's a very, very different receiver, and if you're putting it in a rock crawler, I believe they do 2 versions of this, short and long antenna version. So if you put this in your rock crawler, you've got no issues whatsoever with any water getting into the actual circuitry, because the entire thing is completely sealed. Certainly a different approach, not one that I were expecting, but I do really, really like this idea. So the only thing we've got sticking out is our pins. We've got channels 1 to 4 front bottom. Then what else we got? We've got channels 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then in Flysky style, these are named backwards for the new ports. So you've got these 2 ports, one down from the top. So channels 5 and 6, which are A, B, C and D for the new ports, which you can assign to the iBus, iBus 2, S-Bus or anything else you want. Then we've got VCC and BVD on the top. And then if we spin this round, we've got bind. But which ones do we put it over to bind? So it looks like channel 5 and VCC. So if I'm reading this correctly, if we show that pin and that pin, that puts it into bind mode. Different approach, because now I'm wondering which way you put it into forced update mode. But let's have a look what we get with this. So as with all the enhanced receivers, we get the battery voltage detection cable, which is quite nice. Love having these, especially on crawlers or anything where you've got to run a separate battery. Then we got a whole pack with our bind pin, and I do get why they've gone the bind pin route on this rather than have a button that would then have to be sort of waterproof. And we get a whole bunch of little pin protectors, so any channels that you're not using, you can just drop these in, and it's just yet again another added bit of security just to make it more water resistant. Now the thing that I'm really curious about, and I'm sure somebody at Flysky knows this, but why do we have 9 of these block-offs? Because if you fitted them all, you won't be able to use it. So I'm just going to take it that they think we may lose some of these and they've given us some spares. I'd much rather have too many of these than not enough. And I do appreciate the actual receiver with its waterproof level coming with these little rubber grommets just to seal off the pins. I believe all pins are gold plated as well, so it should stave off any corrosion or anything. But yeah, definitely a really nice little receiver. So let's get something to power it up and see if it connects to us transmitters. Seems though we've got a whole bunch of them. So just like a quick look at what we get in box. We get as nice stickers. We get the BVD cable. To put it into bind mode, we're going to connect the top ports together. It does show you on the side. So you're going from positive on channel 5 to the BVD or VCC plug. Then we're going to need to power it up. So kicking around here somewhere I've got a LiPo. So the voltage on this one will go 3.5 to 9 volt. Your negative pins are all to outside. So you can power it off of any port, but we just need to get it into bind mode. If you want to update the firmware on it, you plug it into channel 1 and 3 on the positive pins and then just provide power from anywhere, and you'll get the 3 slow flashing. And then from Assistant V3 you can plug any transmitter into it that's compatible and just go to receiver update. I'll do a video on that at some point. So first off, into top and bind mode, we get it flashing quickly. Once we've got it into bind mode, so short the positive pins on channel 5 to the VCC, and it's flashing fast. We're going to want to go into model. We're going to want to go channel number definition and set it to 8. And then we can come out of that. We can go into bind set. We want to be bind on enhanced, start channel steering.
Binding successful.
So it will bind straight up to an MB4 Plus. No issues. We're getting everything we should do from it. So
signal lost. Shutting down.
Let's quickly see
Welcome to Noble.
if it likes as Noble Pro. So again, we'll leave bind plug in, and I'm just going to power it off of any random port. So channel number definition will set to 8. RX bind, enhanced, start channel steering.
Binding successful.
So yep, anybody with a Pro
Power off receiver first.
should be perfectly good to go. And not to leave the guys out with the original MB4. So I'll put it back into bind mode. We'll go in, I'll reset model because I've been playing with that one. 8 channel. RX bind, RX set. So start channel steering, enhanced.
Binding successful.
And we bounce straight up. So yeah, works with all AF-HDS3 receivers, transmitters. So there shouldn't be any issues at all using it with the FRM303 or using it with the PL18. I would show you on PL18, but I'm currently modifying all the EdgeTX stuff on that one. So, but even with EdgeTX, it should work fine, and the FRM303 module. But yeah, really interesting little receiver. and this is now kind of wanting to make me get another rock crawler. Maybe we'll have to look about. Really interesting, completely waterproof, and I mean, really looking at this with how small it is. And let's see if we can. I know they do tell you the actual measurements, but I think sometimes you can't beat just actually seeing it physically. But that's 37.21 mil by 23.37, and the depth of it 14.7. So if we just flick it into inch, just in case people want to see that, 1.459 by 0.568 by 0.912. So yeah, quite a small receiver. I mean, that is a standard 2S LiPo hump pack, so it's not that big. If we look at side of, that's an FGR 12B, so it's a little bit lower, a little bit narrower, very similar footprint, but that's nigh on completely waterproof. Very interesting, but yeah, if I can find links to it, I'll leave them below, or I'll add them at a later date when it's available. But definitely a very interesting little receiver, this one. As I said, fully enhanced, 8 channel, 3.5 to 9 volt DC, does come with the external battery voltage detection cable. The 4 ports, 2 on this side, the 2 on that side, are all new ports. So A, B, C and D, you can assign them to any of the protocols, including iBus 2. But yeah, definitely different. Nice gold plated pins, all the rubber caps to seal it off. They do just advise, if you do get it wet, just check the pins afterwards, because depending what metal your pins are that are going on it, your plugs, you can get corrosion in here from the actual plugs themselves. So it says dry it out thoroughly and just check for corrosion. Check your actual plugs, make sure they're not corroding either, if you do get it absolutely soaked wet through. But yeah, definitely a very interesting design, and I do get why it ain't got the bind button, because it'd take away from how waterproof it is. But it is the bind pin, so top 2 for bind, bottom 2 for forced update mode. But let's wrap this one up. So there we have it, the FBr8, nigh on completely waterproof, sealed in a resin receiver, sort of box receiver. Definitely a very interesting one, this. I really like it. I like the way it lights up when you can see the actual LED from any angle on it, because it's all clear. Really solid. I could definitely see people using these in bashers as well. Just with how waterproof it is, you're never going to get a problem with the circuit board getting water to it or anything. It's quite impressive. And you've got 8 channels, so definitely for a crawler, definitely for a boat. You've got the antenna, but I believe they do a longer antenna version. But yeah, quite nice, interesting receiver. Thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.